Stacey and I have been living in Belize for a while now, and one of the strangest things about leaving Canada is that it completely changed how I see the place where I grew up. You really don't notice the culture when you're inside it. It just feels normal. Then you step outside of it for a year or two, and suddenly things that used to seem obvious start looking a little different. Let me explain what I mean. Stacey and I moved down here from Canada as a bit of an experiment. We didn't sell our souls to the ocean gods and declare this a final chapter of our lives or anything like that. We just wanted to try something different. Warmer weather, slower pace, new adventure. And the reaction we got from people in Canada was fascinating. We told people we were moving to Belize. The first responses were almost always some version of concern. What about the healthcare? What about your pension? What happens if something happens? It's like the assumption is that every decision you make has to be permanent and fully locked in for like the next 40 years or something like that. It's almost like people treat it the same as they do a mortgage or buying a house in Canada, right? There's no real need for you to have to commit 30 or 40 years just because you bought a house. You don't like it, you can move again. You might take a hit on the financials in a year or two if you do it, but still not permanent, right? You can make more money. It's like there's this underlying cultural idea in Canada that life is supposed to follow a very specific script. Safe job, stable income, predictable outcome. If you step outside that script, people get uncomfortable. Now compare that to Belize. When we tell people here that we're opening a shop, the response is completely different. Oh, sweet, when you opening? That's awesome. How can I help? That's the energy, not skepticism, not concern, not 10 questions about safety nets and the contingency plans, just encouragement. And it's not fake enthusiasm either. People here genuinely want you to succeed. Someone hears you're starting a business and suddenly they're connecting you with someone who knows the supplier or telling you where to get your lumber for a better deal or pointing you to the guy who fixes golf carts. It's a completely different mindset. Another thing that surprised me about Belize is how many different cultures coexist here. This one I knew before we moved here, but it was personally such a massive bonus for coming down here. So Belize is a mix of Creole, Garifuna, Mestizo, Maya, expats from all over the world, and everyone just kind of exists together. It's not perfect, obviously, no country is, but there's way less tension than people might expect, or what you're used to. Canada likes to present itself as the ultra-progressive, multicultural paradise, but the truth is that Canada can be a little bit closet racist. It's more subtle, polite, quiet. People won't necessarily say things out loud, but the attitudes are still there under the surface. And if we're being honest, a lot of Canadian culture is heavily influenced by the United States anyway. The media, the politics, the conversations, all bleeds north constantly. Belize feels different that way. Here it's just normal to have a dozen cultures mixed up together and nobody making a huge ideological performance about it. People just get on with their lives. Another big difference Stacey and I noticed is how friendly people are here in everyday situations. In Canada, people are polite. They'll usually say sorry if they bump into you. They'll hold the door open. They'll smile at the cashier. Maybe even, ask about the weather. It's like this thing, right? But the interactions pretty much stop there. Polite service, personal bubble. In Belize, you can actually talk to people and they'll talk to you. Someone you never met will strike up a conversation with you while you're waiting for a coffee. And if they don't and you do, they're pretty good at reciprocating. A neighbor might stop and chat for 10 minutes while you're walking down the road. If your golf cart breaks down, someone will literally pull over and help you push it. There's a sense of community that you don't realize you're missing until you experience it somewhere else. And then there's the pace of life. Canada runs on efficiency, systems, schedules, deadlines. Belize runs on go slow, not just keep cocker. At first, I could drive you nuts if you're used to the Canadian way of doing things. Things take longer, sometimes a lot longer. But after a while, you start to realize something. Not everything in life needs to be optimized for speed. And some things are actually better when they're slower. And that's really what this whole move has been about for Stacey and I. Perspective. We didn't come here because Canada was terrible. Canada gave us a lot. It's safe, it's organized, it works. We just don't really like snow. Truth is too, that stepping outside that environment made us realize that there are other ways to live, other rhythms, other priorities. And the biggest realization of all is that nothing has to be permanent. The whole move started as a test. Let's see how we like it experiment. And so far, it's been awesome. We met incredible people. We're building a business. We're building a life that feels a lot more intentional. Maybe we stay forever. Maybe we don't. Point is that we gave ourselves permission to try something completely different. And sometimes that's all it takes to see the world and the place you came from in a completely different way. Let me know what you think down below. Have you moved somewhere that is not where you were born? How'd it go? Did you move back? Any regrets? Let me know.